most tantalizing big screen sensation to ever hit theater screens. An exciting sensual surround. Death Rulers of Ancient Iceland vs. the Skinhead Mutants. See them wage vicious war against mutant skinheads in a battle to reclaim their rule over the nuclear-ravaged Earth.
The world is overrun with subhumans. I shall smite them with my sword. We shall crush the mutant skinheads and reclaim dominion over the world for ourselves. We are the only rightful rulers of this world, and none can dare overcome us. Be sure to tune in tonight, right here on CRZY, right after the news with Hugh Millison, and see tonight's new exciting episode of The Adventures of a Small Happy Family.
Oh my goodness, I tell you what, Uncle Western, the baby has been absolutely spastic the past few weeks. So we took him and we had a few tests run. Well, it turns out that the baby is allergic to plastic. So we had to get rid of everything in the house that was made out of plastic. I tell you, Uncle Western, I just don't know what in the world I am going to do.
Oh heavenly goodness, Aunt Becky, the baby has been climbing the walls the past few nights. So we took him and had some tests run. Well, it turns out that the baby is allergic to cardboard. So we had to get rid of everything in the house that was made out of cardboard. I tell you, I just don't know what on earth I am going to do.
Oh my stars, I tell you what, Mom, the baby has been driving us all crazy the past few weeks. So we took him and we had a few tests run. Well, it turns out that the baby is allergic to paper. So we had to get rid of everything in the house that was made out of paper. I tell you what, Mom, I just don't have any earthly idea how we are going to handle all of this.
What to do? Here I am, I have successfully survived and escaped a lunatic clown who killed himself. I have gone shopping in a mall, but still the question that occupies my mind the most is simply, why am I here? Why do I exist? Why was I created? I must find my creator to find the answers. I must seek out the one who made me, who brought me to life, in order to learn the real meaning and purpose of my existence. Yes, I must find out why I'm here. This is what I must do.
Hi, I am Imogene Slokowski from the Murgatroyd Times, and tonight here on CRZY I am sharing my editorial column from today, What's This City Coming To? Honestly now, when I was growing up, you didn't have clowns hanging themselves in a public park, much less than having the body viewed by thousands on television while it was hanging there. And tell me this, who was worried about all the workers at the paper doll factory who were put out of a job because some retarded loony burned the place to the ground? We hear loads of sympathy and buckets of tears over a degenerate like Apron Head, and that lame pitiful excuse of a human being Bangle D. Boop the clown, but honestly now, has the media bothered to ask the widow of the paper doll factory owner that Apron Head fried to death how she feels about all of this? What about all the innocent children who have flashy paper dolls around the house? How emotionally scarred will they be now that their hero has turned out to be a homicidal, suicidal arsonist? Honestly now. By Imogene Slokowski. Hi, little ladies, and all you other art fans out there. This is Imogen Slokowski here to warn you to stay away from the latest so-called art exhibit, and this time the guy calling himself an artist is none other than our local wannabe poser, Blatt Sun. Let me tell you this much, honey, if this crap that Blatt Sun puts out is considered art, then I am the Mona Lisa. And now let me dissect this gutter trash that tries to masquerade as modern art. First of all, the piece called Ballerina with a skin-diseased left leg made me want to regurgitate. But not to worry, the rest of Blatt Sun's exhibit is as disgusting and repulsive as the first painting. Aging homosexual male reminded me of half of the old lechers who hung out in Dead Center Park when I was a little girl. And the only problem is, aging homosexual male bears a striking resemblance to Count Pedestrian III. And since local gossip has it that Blatt Sun was unceremoniously kicked out of Count Pedestrian's mansion, I'll let you be the judge of who you think the portrait was based on. But oh, little lady, it doesn't stop there. No, no. My. The next outrage is titled Lazy Train Engineer on a Rainy Day in Spain. Honey, I have been to Spain and no train engineer I ever saw looked as abject and pathetic as this poor dear soul. I can tell you firsthand that a rainy day in Spain never looked this desolate and bleak. So, my dear art fans, save your time, save your money, and by all means save your eyes. If real art is supposed to be eye candy, this is a bitter piece of the worst licorice ever produced. Blatt Sun, stop insulting real artists by claiming to be one. Go get a real job.
Crazy Insane Radio presents Wicked War Tales, a Rich Bernardo production. Tonight's episode, part 1 of Hitler's Teeth by Rich Bernardo. Bishop Chiaotri knew that the upper echelons of the Third Reich had been heavily steeped in the occult. And ever since leaving Italy for the United States, he had been collecting any German occult volumes or translations of them. Once inside his quarters, the bishop laid the bag of teeth on a small table and took down Aryan Arcana, a huge volume of spells written by Dr. Reichsmuller only a few years after Hitler's death. He opened it to the section entitled Teeth of the Führer, which read, Whenever the sacred teeth of the Führer come into contact with Aryan flesh, pure and undefiled, this flesh will loosen, invigorate, enhance. Even if this Aryan flesh be dead, it will revive and come back to life upon contact with the teeth of the Führer. But woe unto the unclean and inferior races, for if the teeth come into contact with a member of the inferior race, they will immediately begin to devour the base subhuman creature. Bishop Chiaotri winced at the blatant tone of the article, but read further on anyway. If any of these teeth are planted in the graves of dead Germanic peoples, the deceased Germans shall rise from their graves and take vengeance upon any non-Aryan inhabitants who cross their path. Indeed, these risen Germans will claim the town or city wherein they are resurrected for the Führer. Bishop Chiaotri felt a desire for power burning within his chest. Why settle for just being the Pope, he mused. Why not be the next Führer? At this thought, he slammed the book shut, replaced it on the shelf, and began plotting his scheme for power. And that was part one of Hitler's Teeth. Crazy Insane Radio, episode number 37. Blatson the artist responds to Imogene Slukowski. Good evening, this is Hugh Millitson here at CRZ News, and this evening we are going to allow the artist Blatson, our local artist Blatson, to respond to the scathing attacks on his art show that were delivered last night by local columnist Imogene Slukowski of the Murgatroyd Times. So I want to welcome Blatson the artist here to the studio. Thank you. Thank you. At last, I'm going to bare my soul, and maybe a few other things while I'm at it, for you not so gentle viewers. If you've seen my art, you've seen everything. Well, almost everything. Stick around and I'll show you the rest. You know, it's a funny thing, oh yes it is, that wicked slut, Imogene Slukowski, hadn't so viciously attacked my precious little works of art, I wouldn't be sitting here exposing myself to you like I am now. Oh well, life plays some funny tricks sometimes. I've turned a few funny tricks myself, oh yes I have. But never in my life was I so humiliated as when Imogene, and I won't dignify her by attaching a Ms. to her name, as when Imogene lambasted my art like she did. Well, maybe I was nearly as humiliated that time I was playing the electric guitar with the Emaciated Butterfly Band, and the power went out that time. But I didn't cry the buckets of tears. Oh, the buckets of tears that I did when I read Imogene's column and heard her scathing attack last night. I was as devastated as Rock Hudson would have been if Liberace had broken all of his fingers letting the garage door down just before a big party, and at the same time the loud noise when the garage door fell had also woke Doris Day up from a nap. So you can see, while I'm letting it all hang out, so to speak, just hoping that the catharsis of letting all this out will alleviate my grief. Yes, sweet viewer. You don't mind if I call you honey, do you? Of course you don't. To unintentionally borrow one of that bitch Imogene Slukowski's cliches. Because if you were not the kind, liberal, open-minded person that you are, you wouldn't be here now listening to this trashy self-revelation. Well, voila. You little would-be art critics of the avant-garde, please. This catharsis business is going a little too far, if I do say so myself. But you've been enjoying every little voyeuristic peek into my private personal life now, haven't you, honey? Well, I told you to start with that I was going to expose myself, didn't I? And a good artist never welches on his audience. I think you're an even bigger peeping Tom than I used to be when I hung out in Dead Center Park at night. And that was Blatson the artist here responding to Imogene Slukowski. Thank you.
Recorded live.
And this has been Monifer Gdansk here with annual Murgatroyd beauty pageant show. And I have to say, this is the first year we've had an actual live, real, living paper doll waltz down the runway and compete with the rest of the girls. That's right. Flashy the Paper Doll entered the Murgatroyd Beauty Contest. And now, like I do every year, I'll sing our wonderful beauty pageant show song. Prancy, Prancy, Prancy. Dancy, 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 Dancy. Prissy, Prissy, Prissy. Kudos to the little Missy. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's the Beauty Pageant Show. Whoa, whoa.
Tonight CRZY will present the new exciting blues pianist and vocalist from New Orleans, the artist known as Dechard Doe.
A preoccupation with lighters and fire. CRZY has discovered new video footage from the childhood of Apron Head which reveals a preoccupation with lighters and fire. CRZY has
my plan to find my creator. I will change appearance by wearing a disguise and slip in and out of highly sensitive areas to gather secret intelligence to locate my maker, the scientist who developed the hybrid human DNA and wood pulp which brought me into being. Yes, I will locate and confront the very man who made me.
At long last we finally meet. I must give you credit, Flashy. You are as intelligent as I thought that you would be, as I intended for you to be, as I designed you to be. I knew when I saw the news reports on TV of you walking around Murgatroyd City that it was only a matter of time before you came looking for the man who created you. Well, Flashy my dear living paper doll, you have found me. My name is Dr. Gedrick. Your creation was a top-secret project. I managed to smuggle you out of the so-called paper doll factory minutes before the psychonaut Apron Head torched the facility. My dear, I am certain that you have questions for me, and I will try my best to answer some of them. I cannot reveal everything, as much of it is still classified.
Yes, Dr. Gedrick. I have lots of questions as you can imagine. But the single most important one is this. I am so very tired of being the only living paper doll. I simply must know if there is another one of my kind, another being like
Flashy,
me.
I will be honest with you. There was in fact a somewhat similar being created, but he is not exactly like you. The early formula was much heavier on the wood pulp. When he came out, he is thicker and more solid than you are, well, much more wooden. We nicknamed him Wood Pulp Boy, and he roams the earth as we speak. I have no idea where he is, but you can find him. It is quite possible, Flashy, that the two of you are close enough in DNA to be compatible. Yes, Flashy, you were also designed to be able to procreate, to produce others of your kind.
Drifties for the new Ultra Deluxe Super Duper Hot Dog. Over 3 pounds of weenie. And remember, don't just make it a double. Make it a double. Double.
Hugh Millicent here at CRZY News. We are now taking you to a live press conference that has been convened by Senator Devane, the new senator who replaced Senator Quint after his untimely recent assassination. We now take you to Senator Devane. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure most of you are aware, there's some sort of a strange creature roaming about Murgatroyd calling herself Flashy, the paper doll. Well, I'm here to tell you that we intend to waste no resources in finding and apprehending this creature, whatever she is. It is the current consensus among the team that I have brought together that this is some kind of a freak of nature that was created by some type of a biotech firm. Now, we don't know who authorized this thing. I intend to convene Senate hearings into investigating whether this is a operation out of the CIA, the FBI, whatever it is, and we're going to find out who created this thing and why. I'm here to tell you right now, though, as innocent as this paper doll might appear to you on television, she is an abomination. She is an atrocity. She is not natural. She is an artificial life form. And when I flipped on television the other day, my aide told me she was in a beauty pageant here in Murgatroyd. I turned on the TV and she was walking across the stage with humans. That was a travesty there. The very idea of an artificial life form competing in a human beauty contest is just, what's the world sunk to, ladies and gentlemen? What is the world sunk to? We're going to find this Flashy, and we're going to find out what she is, and we're going to put a stop to this. And if there's any more like her, we're going to find out who made them and why. Thank you very much. No questions. No questions.
Get rid of me, Harold. No matter how hard you try. I'm not going anywhere, Harold. I'm not going anywhere, Harold. Ha, you fool, ha, you fool. You can't get rid of me.
Now,
You
coming
can't
to
get
a
rid of
theater
me.
near you, the most terrifying shock fest to ever crawl across the screen. She would not die. He shot her, he stabbed her, he poisoned her, he ran over her, but she would not die. He drowned her, he burned her, he buried her, but she just kept coming back. She would not die. Warning, no one will be seated during the jolting electrocution scene. No one under 35 admitted. Advance ticket sales available online. Special bags will be provided at the concession stand for those members of the audience
You
who
can't
have
get rid
weak
of me,
stomachs.
Harold. No matter how hard you try. I'm not going anywhere, Harold. I'm not going anywhere, Harold. Ha, you fool, ha, you fool. You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me.
It's a very sad day in Murgatroyd today. The 20th victim of the Murgatroyd serial killer has been found near the off-ramp of the Sawmill City exit near Flat Town. Identification of the female victim is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. Lieutenant Skitters remains in charge of the serial killer investigation. Further updates to follow. I repeat. The 20th victim of the Murgatroyd serial killer was found earlier today.
Well, Lieutenant Skitters, I don't think I have to tell you why I brought you into my office. You're in charge of this Murgatroyd serial killer investigation, and now he's claimed the 20th victim? What the hell is going on? Why the hell can't you capture this guy? Not only that, I've got this highfalutin Senator Devane breathing down my neck now, throwing his weight around, demanding that we go after this Trashy the Paper Doll or whatever the hell she's called. I wish to hell I'd never heard that name. She's indirectly responsible for Apronhead burning down the paper doll factory and for that crazy clown hanging himself in broad daylight in the middle of Dead Center Park. I got a senator demanding we go after a damn paper doll. Look, I don't care how you find her. I just want you to find her. I don't give a damn what you do to her. I don't give a rat's ass if you tear her into 20 million pieces and scatter her to the four winds. I don't care if you glue her to the damn wall. Hell, we can't put her in a jail cell. She'll slide right out from underneath the door. If you got to get a glue gun and glue her to the wall, I don't care what you do with her, Lieutenant Skitters. I just want this trashy paper doll confiscated. I want her picked up. I want her destroyed. I don't give a damn what you do with her, and I want you to find this Murgatroyd serial killer. Do you understand me? Do you get my drift? All right, you're dismissed.
Recorded live.
Oh, hello, my dear sweet friends. This is Dr. Hubert Slakowski here once again for this week's edition of the Divine Humanity Cathedral. Oh, my dear friends, I must tell you, Senator Devane is right. This flashy paper doll is not a natural living being. She's not divine like humanity. Humans are divine. She's a creation of man. And since man created her, she is inferior to man. Oh, she may possess human DNA, but God forbid that she should intermix with a human and have offspring. She's a bastardization. She's an abomination. Do not be lulled into this idea that she has rights. She's a paper doll. Wake up, people. Humans are divine. Flashy the paper ball, she is nothing but an abomination. She is nothing but an aberration, an atrocity. All right, my good people, I want to say, have a wonderful and blessed week. And this has been Dr. Hubert Slakowski at the Divine Humanity Cathedral. Goodbye.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the studio audience, and welcome to the new exciting CRZY game show. I know where one's at. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Just before the show, someone was secretly chosen from our studio audience, and they were given an object. That object was placed in one of 20 boxes. Those boxes will be brought out on the stage, and another audience member will be chosen, and they have to determine where an item is at. This is the game show, I Know Where One's At, and that new chosen member of the studio audience has to pick the correct box to win loads and loads of exciting prizes on I Know Where One's At.
Imogene Slokowski here from the Murgatroyd Times. My column today is All Men Are Brats. Yes, my dear, all men are just overgrown brats. It's merely the size of their toys that has changed. And they still see you as the meaningless slave to do their every command, to obey their bidding. In short, men view womankind as a subordinate slave race created to keep them happy. And by God, you have been catering to their asinine whims your entire life, little lady. Wake up, and free yourself from male oppression. You burn your bra, you burned his breakfast. Well now, little lady, it's time for you to burn that document of slavery, that marriage license, and free yourself from the domineering brute who would like to keep you barefoot, pregnant, and constantly in the kitchen fixing him another snack. Thank you. This has been Imogene Slokowski of the Murgatroyd Times.
In Dead Center Park, a group of local skateboarders were protesting in favor of protecting Flashy the paper doll from Senator Devane and Mayor Perenczy. Signs supported Flashy and denounced the senator and the mayor. Another sign denounced Dr. Hubert Slokowski, calling him a fascist.
Wes Tomac here on the scene in Dead Center Park, where a group of skateboarders are protesting in support of Flashy the Paper Doll. I talked to one of the skateboarders earlier. It's like, man, me and my bro, we were like skating through the park, and like Flashy comes walking through, and like, she's a paper doll, man. And I said, whoa, look, bud, it's a walking, living paper doll. And he says, yeah, right. But then Flashy, like, turns and she, like, waves at us and stuff. It's like, Flashy's, like, cool, man.
A preoccupation with lighters and fire. CRZY has discovered new video footage from the childhood of Apronhead, which reveals a preoccupation with lighters.
We're going to find you, Flashy. We will find you, Flashy. We're coming for you, Flashy. We're coming for you, Flashy. We'll get 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 you, Flashy. We're going to find you, Flashy. We will find you, Flashy. We're coming for you, Flashy. We're coming for you, Flashy. We'll get you, Flashy. We'll get you,
Flashy. A preoccupation with lighters and fire. CRZY has discovered new video footage from the childhood of Apronhead, which reveals a preoccupation with lighters.
Now CRZY brings you the new jazz novelty hit video Nosferatu.
Talk
Your collection, but you'll also get the new jazz novelty hit Nosferatu. Nosferatu, gonna drink tonight. Nosferatu, ooh, Nosferatu, Nosferatu. Nosferatu, hey Nosferatu, go Nosferatu, hey Nosferatu, go Nosferatu, hey Nosferatu, go Nosferatu, hey Nosferatu, go Nosferatu, hey Nosferatu. Hey, that's ra ta 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 ra tu 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 tu. Hey, Nosferatu, go Nosferatu. Hey, Nosferatu, go Nosferatu. Hey, Nosferatu, go Nosferatu. Hey, Nosferatu, go Nosferatu. Hey, Nosferatu. Hey, Nosferatu,
CRZY will be bringing you an incredible new series, Wicked War Tales. You will see the most devastating and catastrophic stories of all-out combat fury. You will see the explosive battles that shaped all of the many wars in the world's history. Wicked War Tales. Will be bringing you an incredible new series, Wicked War Tales. You will see the most devastating and catastrophic stories of all-out combat fury. You will see the explosive battles that shaped all of the many wars in the world's history. Wicked War Tales. Welcome to tonight's CRZY special on the Murgatroyd serial killer. For 4 long years and now 20 victims, a serial killer has stalked Murgatroyd. The sites where the bodies were found have all been different: a bridge, an old industrial building, parking lots, off-ramps, a number of different remote locations. The only common elements are that the victims are all young females between 25 and 40. Of the Murgatroyd Police Department is the lead detective in charge of the serial killer investigation. Lieutenant Skitters even at one point named Count Pedestrian III as a prime suspect.
So far the only surviving victim to successfully escape the serial killer has been Shimiko Hiramoto, the daughter of Japanese business magnate Fudiki Hiramoto.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Hi, this is Les Tomac, live from Dead Center Park, where the protesters today are protesting in favor of Flashy the Paper Doll. And I have seen a group of skateboarders rally together with signs, and I'm going to interview one of those skateboarders now. Hello, young man.
Hello. My name is Josh. How are you?
Good.
Well, I'm going to start out by letting you know that I love your show. I listen to it all the time, dude. All right. Well, I was doing an aerial 360 kickflip down in the half pipe the other day, and I saw this beautiful paper girl walking down the street. And, I mean, she was just gorgeous. Everything I ever wanted. And I went up to try to go talk to her, but she ignored me and stuff. Well, you know, I didn't know too much about it, but then I've been hearing about all these senators and people out there trying to, you know, protest her, drag her down, whatever, you know, tell her that she doesn't deserve rights and everything. But she's, you know, she's just as human as the rest of us, you know, dude. Like, seriously, man, I think it's ridiculous that they want to sit there and hate on her, you know. I skateboard for a living. It's not like I do anything special or anything like that, you know. I go and beg for food and shit like that all the time, you know. I don't understand why they're going to hate on such a beautiful girl. She's too beautiful. Way too beautiful.
Thank you. That was a skateboarder here in Dead Center Park, and this is Les Tomac, live on the scene. Lead Stuff Gowls, Pop Star Interview number 337. Well, hello again, jaded reader. Today I have Fling Jamerson of the Stud Puppies as my guest. So the press has been having a field day with your love life. Tell us about it, Fling. Well, as you know, my first wife ran off with my drummer. I suppose it could have been a lot worse. She could have run off with the bass guitarist or something, but at least she picked a guy that has rhythm. That's very important, Fling, isn't it? Having rhythm. Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Certainly. For sure. There's all these dreadful people walking around who have no rhythm. I see them at the market, on the subway, walking down the street. I think, my, what abject lives they must have. So, Fling, tell us about your sixth wife who just left you. She told me she needed to regroup her mind and reprioritize her urges. I kind of wish she'd done that sooner. I threw my hip out giving her some of what she couldn't seem to get enough of. A real nympho, that one. Fling, there was some controversy, I recall, about your hit, Why Don't You Get You Some? And Come Get You Some More, wasn't there? Oh, yes, for heaven's sakes. There were all these goody-two-shoes soccer moms who didn't want their little tweens listening to the lyrics, and they created this idiotic overreaction. Yes, Fling, mamas against lewd lyrics in rock. Yes, that dreaded Mahler organization, M-A-L-L-I-R. They started boycotting concerts and record stores, and the bubblegum company that was sponsoring our tour pulled out on us. It was horrendous.
The exciting talk show right here in Murgatroyd City. And tonight, Les Tomac's first guest is the famous or infamous, depending upon your point of view, Flashy the Paper Doll. That's right, folks. No matter what you may believe, there really is a living, breathing paper doll, and she is here tonight making her first television appearance right here on the Les Tomac Show.
Welcome to the show, folks. You're live in the audience tonight, and that's wonderful because we've got a real live one here tonight. Yes, that's right. A living, talking, walking paper doll. We're not kidding. Those reports you heard of Flashy the Paper Doll, walking around Murgatroyd, through Dead Center Park, those skateboarders who are protesting in her favor, yes, ladies and gentlemen, there really is a living, walking, breathing paper doll. And it's Flashy. And Flashy's our guest here tonight. And I want all of you to give a resounding welcome to Flashy. Of course, I'll be asking her questions, and she's going to be talking to all of us and telling all of us exactly what it's like to be a paper doll. And, of course, she's going to focus in on the hard issues, too. The prejudice that's being directed toward her and the movement that's out there to try to protect her. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's Flashy the Paper Doll.
Thanks for the warm welcome, the warm introduction. You have no idea how risky this appearance on your show is for me. The senator is looking for me. The mayor is out to get me. Gosh darn, I must have a death wish to even show here tonight. Thank you for all the security people, Les. I just hope I can get out of here in one piece tonight. Oh boy.
Flashy, Flashy, Flashy. So glad that you're here, Flashy, and the audience loves you to death. I won't let the mayor get you, Flashy, and I won't let the senator get you either, Flashy. And again, I understand and I appreciate that you took a great deal of risk to be here on my show tonight. And so I'm just going to ask you point blank, Flashy, how do you feel about these people that are against you? What's your opinion of Senator Devane, of Mayor Perensky, of this Dr. Hubert Slokowski? Tell us, Flashy, what do you think about these people?
Since you ask me, Les, I will tell you. The illustrious Senator Devane is a prejudiced jerk. And Murgatroyd's Mayor Perensky is an angry idiot. And this so-called Dr. Hubert Slokowski might as well be a torture priest from the Spanish Inquisition. So do you have any more questions you would like to ask me, Les?
Let's Stuff Gowell's Pop Star Interview number 186. We're here, loyal, lovely reader, with Worst Rat of the Antagonist. So tell me, Worst Rat, about your latest hit, You Go, Sweetie. Well, I walked into this little quaint jewelry store, oh yes I did, and lo and behold, there was this cute little blonde girl wearing a trench coat working behind the counter. Oh yes she was. And every time I asked a question, she would answer it back and call me sweetie. Oh, yes, she did. So I ran back to the apartment. I'll never forget it was raining, and I had forgotten a hat or an umbrella or anything. Oh, yes, I had. Anyways, when I got back to the flat, I turned the telly on and started flipping channels. And there comes Wendy Williams, bigger than Dallas. Oh, yes, she was. And she was like schmoozing this gal in the audience, telling her, you go, girl. And I knew in that instance, oh, yes, I did, that I had found the title for our new song. And I started writing it immediately. Oh, yes, I did. I took the You Go from Wendy and added the Sweetie part from the gal at the jewelry store, and the rest just flowed naturally. And I wrote, You Go, Sweetie, in about 5 minutes on the back of an old yellow legal pad.
Humilit Sun, Les Tomac, and Imogene Slokowski, from downtown Murgatroyd.
Another new video has surfaced from Maidenhead's childhood, this one from a department store surveillance camera showing him having a seizure in a downtown store. In a much more upbeat note, a team of new graffiti artists in downtown Murgatroyd are attempting to lift the spirits of a city caught in shock and grief over the unsolved slayings of 20 girls and young women by the still unknown, unidentified and unapprehended Murgatroyd serial killer. Scenes all over the scene, the various locations where the bodies were found, serve grim reminders of the 20 victims during the past 4 years. Lieutenant Skillers continues to lead the investigation. This has been Ronson Kilroy at CRZY News.
Dear viewers, Imogene Slokowski here from the Murgatroyd Times. I am now a regular here on CRZY, reading my new column daily. Today's column is titled Honestly Now, Heavens to Murgatroyd by Imogene Slokowski. Honestly now, little lady, when I was growing up we didn't have living paper dolls appearing on talk shows and demanding human rights. We didn't have a cult of naive skateboarders rallying to her defense like you see today in Dead Center Park. And a liberal mass media all too eager to jump on the bandwagon of this outrageous mess. I have no doubts that talk show host Les Tomac's ratings went through the roof when this living paper doll waltzed across his stage just like she was somebody. What's this world coming to? Heavens to Murgatroyd. Here we have an artificial life form, a dadgum paper doll of all things, is being championed as the latest cause celeb. If this paper doll has human rights, people, then by God I am the Statue of Liberty. Thank you. This has been Imogene Slokowski.
am sitting here thinking about you as I rest from my long, weary journey. Yes, the road is long and hard and you are so very, very far away, but I am coming to rescue you from the evil humans such as Senator Devane and Mayor Perensky. And that evil psychotic fascist Dr. Hubert Slokowski. Yes, no matter how many days or weeks it takes me, I will make it to Murgatroyd somehow. If I had to swim 1,000 oceans, if I had to climb 1,000 mountains, I would come to you and find you and save you. And I will find you somehow. No obstacles shall stand in my way, and no humans shall stop me. And then we will be together and father a new race of beings, and together with our offspring we shall one day outnumber and overthrow mankind. I am Woodpulp Boy and I am on my way, Flashy.
This morning, Senator Devane announced that the search for Flashy the paper doll has been ramped up since her sudden and highly controversial appearance on the Les Tomac talk show on CRZY television. Dr. Hubert Slokowski of the Divine Humanity Cathedral also expressed outrage and said he fully supports the apprehension of Flashy the paper doll by authorities. Mayor Perensky issued an all-points bulletin for law enforcement in Murgatroyd City to be on the lookout for an appearance of Flashy anywhere in Murgatroyd, and citizens are urged to notify the authorities of Flashy's whereabouts should anyone spot her anywhere.
Episode of Heart's Desire is brought to you by Vincini Ultra Deluxe Triple Star Gourmet Coffee. The only coffee you will ever need, every time, everywhere, every day.
Yes, my darling Roderick, going back to the island is the best decision we can make. We will enjoy the long ocean voyage. We will be away from the pressures of Crane City and the threats looming over us from the evil Cranston. Once we are safely back to the security and remoteness of the island, we can rebuild our own little paradise. Yes, yes, my dearest.
Yes, my precious Millicent. You know that you mean the world to me. And you know that we felt truly secure on that island. And we will be secure once again once we arrive back there. Cranston cannot find us there. And he will never bother to come looking for us, either, my dearest sweet darling. Yes, yes, my dear Millicent, the island is the solution.
Vincini Ultra Deluxe Triple Star Gourmet Coffee. Make some today, any day, every day. Ultra Deluxe Triple Star Gourmet.
Here with CRZY, and it's time for our call-in show where viewers voice their opinions. Our topic today is Flashy the paper doll. Do you support her or do you support the efforts to find and apprehend her? Call CRZY and tell us what you think. And we have a caller on the line now. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, here's Uncle Frank. My friends and neighbors call me Uncle Frank. I'm not gonna give you my last name here on the air, but yeah, I remember this whole mess started a few weeks ago. Me and Aunt Suki gone down there to Grifty's to get us both a double, and we was sitting there, and I seen Flashy come running by in front of Grifty's, and then not 10 seconds later, some damn clown came chasing after her with a pair of scissors. And I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 days later, Aunt Suki and I gone over there to Dead Center Park where all them skateboarders hang out, and And we seen that clown hang himself from that killed him rock. I told him again, I said, now that's crazy when there. I said, you crazy to have that flashy paper doll or whatever she's called. I don't know where she came from or what she is, but by God, I think they need to catch her. I think they need to get her off the streets. I don't see how she possibly could be anything good can come out of any of this. Well, thank you. That's all I've got to say.
I guess I'm caller number 2. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, I see Flashy as a symbol, as a metaphor for feminine rights, and I see her situation as a modern-day allegory for the struggle that women have been going through for thousands of years. I was thrilled as I could be to see her appear on that television talk show the other night. That took an awful lot of guts, an awful lot of courage for her to do that. I think all women everywhere should rally to her cause and champion her.
Pop star interview. Hey there, little listeners. Your solid sound man, Lead Stuff Gowell here with another scintillating interview, this time with Farrell Stringer of the Yo-Yos. How in the world did you guys break into the pop scene, Farrell? Well, we were all strung out in the early days, you know. Things were really up and down for the Yo-Yos. And oh my God, I had just about had it until I woke up one night after having slept for like 72 hours. That's how we lived back then, awake for 4 days, asleep for 3. And all of a sudden I wrote our first hit on the back of a paper towel. Oh, I remember that one. What you doing, little baby? Went to the top of the charts like a bullet, Stringer. Yeah, that whiny falsetto at the end of that run was my idea. The other Yo-Yos thought I had gone bonkers, but the teeny boppers loved it and ate it up. Stringer, boy, did they ever. Is that how those glow-in-the-dark Yo-Yos got started at your concerts? Well, there was this sweet little groupie from Allentown, Pennsylvania, who threw out all her John Mellencamp records and ran off with our band. Gee, she was something. She was on this cute little yo-yo that had a whiny sound when you did the walk the dog with it. And, of course, it lit up and glowed in the dark. We all stayed pretty lit in those days, too. Hello, good people of Murgatroyd. It's your favorite resident artist, Blatson the Artist here, to tell you about my latest art exhibit. Yes, Flashy the Paper Doll is the subject of my show. She's so minimalist. She's so bare bones. She's the ultimate abstraction. And these idiotic humans who hate her, they don't understand what she is. They don't grasp the significance of Flashy. And that idiot Imogene Flakowski, who keeps trashing my art, boy, have I got my revenge planned up for her. I'm sure you're familiar with another artist named Andres Serrano. Well, I'm going to find an old yearbook from back when Imogene Flakowski was known as Imogene Slutkowski. And I'm going to cut pictures of Imogene out, and I'm going to submerge them in a big jar of a certain bodily fluid. I'll just let you good people of Murgatroyd figure out what that bodily fluid's going to be. Yes, The next one is going to be called Images of Imogene. And I'm sure she'll love that art exhibit. Oh, yes, she
Gee
will.
whiz. I am so glad and so relieved that not all humans hate me. The nice skateboarders from Dead Center Park all love me and have rallied to my support. And now the artist Bladson has made me the subject of his latest art exhibit. I feel so very, very honored. Wow. This is my very first time to visit an art exhibit, much less one that is based on me. Thank you, skateboarders. Thank you, Bladson.
Tempest by Rich Vernado. Chapter 1. A blazing full moon hung in dark, smoky sky, casting shadows from the magnolia trees onto the crowd of black faces on the courtyard of the great windswept-in plantation. The sadistic slave master stood upon a scaffold and announced this vile wench has been charged with insubordination, with attempting to aid and abet a rebellion, and fomenting an insurrection. He pointed at a thin, mulatto-skinned slave girl whose arms were tied up in the air to a flogging pole. Vixuna, the beautiful red-haired Irish mistress of the plantation, marched up the stairs of the scaffold and stepped onto the wooden platform. I demand that this entire spectacle cease at once. The moon caught a gleam in her fierce, angry Irish eyes. Tempestor, the slave master and her former lover, looked into her eyes briefly and then averted his own eyes away from her captivating stare. He knew in his heart that her will would always possess his own and that he was himself a slave to her every wish, command, and desire.
Untie her at once. The eyes of the slave girl begged for mercy. Tempestor untied the ropes from the wrists of the bound girl. But an example has to be made. He insisted. Vixuna responded, "Unlike you, I do not condone brutality." She shot him a piercing glance that sent a very clear message. He felt intense feelings towards her rekindle inside him. A mixture of lustful desire and resentment at her power over him. Vixuna addressed the slave girl Matilda as Tempestor untied her. "You may have the day off from many labor tomorrow to rest up." Matilda bowed slightly and gave Vixuna a thankful glance. She then walked quickly off the wooden platform, her head lowered, down the stairs into the crowd of onlooking slaves below who were wailing and sighing with relief. Vixuna glared at Tempestor. "I will not have it said that I am a merciless mistress." Tempestor turned and began walking, shaking his head. Vixuna looked down at the sea of black faces and told them, "You may all return to your quarters, now, this little show has ended." Vixuna went down the long, tree-lined pathway to the massive wooden doors of the palatial windswept-in mansion, a massive castle-like structure. She pushed open the huge doors and a tall, very dark black man bowed slightly as she entered. "Good evening, Miss Vixuna." She glanced at him and nodded, then walked through to the foyer to the two massive doors of the drawing room. As an instant reflex that appeared almost instinctive, Cardon the servant pushed the doors open for her. "The usual drink, madam?" he asked. Vixuna nodded, then walked to the huge bar and accepted the glass of brandy once it had been poured. She walked to the glowing fireplace and looked at the flames within it and began speaking. "Cardon, do you have any notion what this raging fire brings to my mind? The fragrance of hell, that's what it represents to me. And the faces of my poor subjects outside tonight. What I saw was the preponderance of the disenchanted. And why shouldn't they be disenchanted? And when I looked into Tempestor's face, I saw only the flavors of
Pop interview number 449. And tonight, it's Lead Stuff Gal's historic interview with Monica Gdansk of the Silly Boys. I'm here, not so gentle reader, with the former lead singer of the Silly Boys, Monica Gdansk. So, Monica, tell me about the Silly Boys. Well, I was really unsure of myself when we first started, and I had this psychiatrist from San Diego who told me, you will leave the group, but you will come back. Well, I took that as an omen and a prophecy of my destiny. So I did leave, and then I came back. Yes, Monica, I think you did that 16 times? 17 times, actually. I'd leave the group, and then I'd come back. And every time, Monica, you did, your group had another hit. What do you attribute that to? Fate, destiny, the universe, and, of course, the hoopla and media hype every time I would come back didn't hurt either. Pop star interview number 6000 by Lead Stuff Gal. Today, for our historic interview number 6000, we have Wiggle Wrongly of the band Emaciated Butterfly. So tell me about yourself, Wiggle. Well, our band was named after this delicate little moth-like creature that fluttered into a cobweb by the window of my flat. It got stuck there, and I watched it for days as it slowly withered away, and I said, bingo, there's the name for our band. Wow, Wiggle. So tell me about the protest that your band got the bright idea when it made the remark publicly, Emaciated Butterfly is bigger than Buddha, that it would sell millions of records. Boy, was I ever wrong. Almost overnight, all these Chinese and Tibetan monks were smashing and torching our records, having big demonstrations covered on international television. It was a fiasco and a disaster all rolled into one. But Wiggle? It created an artificial collector's market for all your early releases. Oh, yes. We figure so many thousands of our records were destroyed that there may only be 762 copies left in existence of our early hit. Baby, why do I cry? Some teenage groupie in Cleveland even sold a copy of it on eBay for $500.
Episode of Heart's Desire is brought to you by Vincini Cosmetics, makes a Vincini face cream, for the little Ms. Fancy Pants in your family Slidette 2 cologne, and for her brother the new Whiplash 5 aftershave, and of course for the whole family there's Uncle Crud Bucket's Basic Lime Thigh Cream. Well, my dearest darling Roderick, we have finally made it back here to own Private Island. Safe at last from the evil Cranston and the pressures of Crane City. We can relax and build a fire and look up at the sky, and whether or not we believe it or not, we are here now. Safe at last. Back on our own remote private island.
Yes, my sweet precious Millicent, we have indeed finally made it back here to own wonderful little island, where we are finally safe at last from the evil Cranston and the turmoil of Crane City. We can swim and fish and build a campfire and gaze up at the stars in the sky at night. And whether or not we believe it or not, we really are here now. Secure at last. Back on our own little private
Cosmetics
island.
Corporation announces this exciting new line of products. Whiplash 5. Give that chunky hunk of brawny maleness the gift that will keep him giving what he likes to put out best. Whiplash 5 gives that implied scent of manly essence with that pure hint of gentle ruggedness. Little Suzette. One dash of the subtly sublime fragrance, and that overgrown damsel in your corner will kiss her Victorian virginity to the four winds. New from Vincini Cosmetics.
ladies, Imogen Slokowski here at CRZY. I thought I had seen it all, little lady, but this latest outrage from Blatson is even more disgusting than this previous art exhibit. Yes, our local wannabe artist has now staked his dubious claim to fame on championing this vile creature called Flashy the Paper Doll. So here we have a degenerate artist elevating a degenerate life form to cult status. By doing an art exhibit which glorifies this space scrap of subhuman garbage, Blatson in effect is simply creating more garbage masquerading as modern art. My father, Dr. Hubert Slokowski, is absolutely correct when he denounces Flashy as an abomination. The ghastly little thing was artificially created in a laboratory. She is the result of science gone wild, the freak product of a bio-research outfit tampering with things that humanity has no business tampering with. And the so-called attempt to locate and apprehend her has fallen as flat as everything else coming from Flat Town and Murgatroyd always does. Mayor Perensky should resign. And this joke of a detective, Lieutenant Skitters, can't even manage to locate and apprehend a damn paper doll, much less the Murgatroyd serial killer that has claimed 21 victims in the past 4 years. Honestly now, time to shut your windows and lock your doors, little lady. The lunatics of Murgatroyd have very definitely taken over this asylum called Murgatroyd. This has been Imogen Slokowski at CRZY News. Have a very good evening, little ladies. Good night.